Imagine this, a young girl from Hawaii steps onto a golf course and outdrives seasoned pros before she even hits her teens. By 13, Michelle Wie wasn't just competing in men's tournaments, she was beating them. She shot a stunning 68 in a PGA event, a feat most professionals could only dream of at that age. It was clear from the start Michelle was destined for greatness. What happened next? Were the overwhelming expectations too much to handle? Was the comparison to Tiger Woods a burden? Or did her parents and coaches focus on her potential as a golden ticket instead of her talent? One thing is clear, early fame and fortune often create more challenges than opportunities. Stay with us as we explore the true story of Michelle Wie's rapid rise, unexpected controversies, and the heartbreaking setbacks that almost derailed her career before it truly began. Michelle Wie's story begins in the sun-soaked streets of Honolulu, Hawaii, where she was born on the 11th of October 1989 to South Korean parents. Her father, Byung-wook Wie, was not only a university professor, but also an accomplished amateur golfer. Her mother, Bo, had once clinched the South Korean Women's Amateur Championship. With such a strong golfing background, it wasn't long before Michelle was handed her first golf club. At just 4 years old, Michelle's swing was already capturing the attention of everyone at the local courses. By the age of 7, she was outdriving players 3 times her age, consistently hitting 100-yard drives. Her talent was undeniable, and her parents quickly became her biggest supporters, taking on the roles of both mentors and coaches. Recognizing her potential, they enrolled her in golf tournaments almost as soon as she could walk. By the age of 10, Michelle made a significant impression on the national stage, becoming the youngest player ever to qualify for the prestigious U.S. Women's Amateur Public Links. The world watched in awe as this pint-sized powerhouse began breaking records left and right. She wasn't just winning, she was dominating, often by double-digit margins. What drove this young girl to exceed every expectation? How would she fare as she stepped into a competitive arena filled with seasoned professionals? Little did anyone know that the stakes were about to get even higher. Michelle Wie's early success in golf was nothing short of remarkable, far beyond her years. It was evident that Michelle wasn't just a talented child. She was a force in the making, poised to challenge seasoned competitors. In 2002, at just 12 years old, she became the youngest player ever to qualify for an LPGA Tour event, the Takafuji Classic. While most children her age were focused on middle school exams, Michelle was competing against professionals and holding her own. The following year, at 13, she stunned the golf world again by playing in the Kraft Nabisco Championship, one of the LPGA's major events, where she shot an impressive third-round 66, tying the lowest score ever recorded by an amateur at that championship. Her top 10 finish sent a bold message. Michelle wasn't merely there to participate, she was determined to make history. By the age of 14, Michelle had made headlines again as the youngest player to make the cut at a PGA Tour event, competing against men at the Sony Open in Hawaii. It was a remarkable sight. A young girl standing shoulder to shoulder with professional male golfers, fearlessly driving the ball over 300 yards. Her record-breaking accomplishments continued as she joined the Curtis Cup team in 2004, becoming the youngest member in history and contributing to a win against Great Britain and Ireland. However, as Michelle soared to unprecedented heights, the pressure began to mount. The spotlight was intense and expectations were enormous. The young golf prodigy was quickly becoming a household name. Would she be able to handle the immense weight of fame and success at such a young age? As her teenage years unfolded, signs of strain began to surface. As Michelle Wie turned 15, the world watched with bated breath. Her amateur career had been filled with record-breaking moments, but stepping into the professional arena was a different beast. In October 2005, just shy of her 16th birthday, Michelle made the leap, signing lucrative deals with Nike and Sony worth an estimated $10 million per year. It was a jaw-dropping figure for a teenager, cementing her status as golf's new superstar. But with big contracts came even bigger expectations. Her professional debut at the Samsung World Championship was met with excitement and controversy. Initially, Michelle showcased her trademark brilliance, finishing 4th, but the celebration was short-lived. An incorrect scorecard signature led to a disqualification, overshadowing what could have been a stellar start. Critics quickly pounced, questioning whether her rapid move into the pro circuit was a mistake fueled by the lure of sponsorships rather than readiness. This wasn't the only controversy. In 2006, she received a special exemption from the USGA to bypass the qualifying rounds for the US Women's Open, a decision that sparked outrage. Many argued that her participation was driven by marketing interests, rather than merit, creating a divide in the golfing community. Yet despite the noise, Michelle held her ground, finishing tied for 13th and silencing some of her critics for the moment. The transition to professional golf was turbulent, filled with both moments of brilliance and glaring missteps. The teen prodigy had officially entered the big leagues, but the question lingered. Could she live up to the immense hype, or had the pressure already started taking its toll? As the spotlight grew brighter, the path ahead would only get rockier. After a meteoric rise in her early years, Michelle Wie's career took a sharp turn as she transitioned deeper into professional golf. By her late teens, the pressure of living up to her early promise was immense, but the real issues began with a series of puzzling coaching decisions that tampered with her natural game. David Ledbetter, her swing coach, introduced a slew of new techniques, complicating what was once an instinctive and fluid swing. Instead of letting Michelle play with her raw talent, she was bombarded with technical adjustments, filling her mind with conflicting thoughts on every stroke. The once fearless teenage sensation was now overthinking every shot. As if poor coaching wasn't enough, Michelle's body began to betray her. In 2007, she suffered a wrist injury that would plague her for years. What started as a minor issue turned into a chronic problem, leading to surgeries and long breaks from the game. Her powerful drives, once her greatest asset, were now causing her pain. By 2018, the wrist injuries had become so severe that they forced her to undergo surgery, limiting her tournament schedule and affecting her overall performance. The combination of injuries and misguided coaching led to a noticeable decline in Michelle's game. From being a confident prodigy capable of taking on both men's and women's tournaments, she struggled to keep pace even with her peers. The carefree player who had once taken the golf world by storm was now a shadow of her former self, often seen grimacing in pain or visibly frustrated on the course. Despite occasional flashes of brilliance, the downward spiral was hard to ignore. Fans and critics alike started to question if we were witnessing the end of Michelle Wie's once dazzling career, and with every tournament withdrawal and inconsistent performance, the doubts only grew louder. But as her physical and mental struggles mounted, Michelle would face her most difficult decision yet. Just when the world had nearly written off Michelle Wie, she made a stunning comeback that no one saw coming. It was June 2014, and Michelle found herself back on the grand stage at the US Women's Open, held at Pinehurst No. 2. The pressure was immense. This was the major championship she had chased her entire career. But this time, Michelle seemed different. The injuries, the missteps, and the doubts had all hardened her, giving her a steely resolve. By the final round, it was clear that something special was unfolding. Michelle played with a confidence that hadn't been seen in years. Her putts were precise, her drives powerful. With a final score of 2 under par, she secured a decisive victory, becoming the only player to finish under par that week. She left Stacey Lewis, one of her fiercest competitors, trailing behind as the runner-up. For Michelle, it wasn't just another win. It was a statement to everyone who had doubted her, proving that she still had what it took to dominate at the highest level. But the triumphs didn't end on the golf course. In 2019, Michelle's life took a joyous turn as she married Johnny West's son of NBA legend Jerry West, followed by the birth of their daughter McKenna. It was a new chapter for Michelle, filled with happiness and personal growth. Despite her remarkable comeback, Michelle Wie's body continued to betray her ambitions. By 2018, persistent wrist injuries had become a painful constant companion. The 2019 KPMG Women's PGA Championship was a breaking point. Michelle carded an 84 in the first round. With tears in her eyes, she knew something had changed. It wasn't just her game faltering. It was the realization that her body could no longer withstand the demands of professional golf. In June 2022, Michelle made the emotional decision to step away from competitive play, announcing that the US Women's Open at Pine Needles would be her final tournament. Fans watched as Michelle waved a heartfelt goodbye, signaling the end of an era. Yet retirement opened a new chapter 1 that allowed her to embrace roles beyond golf. As an entrepreneur, Michelle invested in a diverse array of ventures, from tech startups like Sportsbox AI to luxury brands and even her own fashion line. Her business acumen was as sharp as her swing once was. On the personal front, life seemed brighter than ever. Michelle found joy in family life, raising her daughter McKenna with her husband Johnny West. They made a home in sunny California, focusing on building a future together, away from the limelight. But for Michelle, leaving golf was never truly about giving up. It was about finding a different path, one where she could still leave her mark. As she closed the chapter on her playing career, the big question remained: would she return one day? With her club set aside, Michelle Wie West began an entirely new journey. proving she was more than just a golfing sensation. Her first steps into the business world were bold as she ventured into multiple industries, showcasing her versatility and vision. Michelle invested in tech startups like Sportsbox AI, which uses artificial intelligence to analyze golf swings, a testament to her desire to give back to the sport that defined her early years. Beyond tech, she became a co-owner of LA Golf, leveraging her expertise to help design cutting-edge golf equipment. Her eye for style also found a new home in fashion, but perhaps her most personal investment was in the Mizuno Americas Open, where she played a pivotal role in bringing a fresh, inclusive vibe to the tournament. This was her way of leaving a lasting legacy in women's golf, ensuring that the next generation of players had more opportunities than she did. In her new role as an investor and entrepreneur, Michelle didn't just ride on her fame. She worked hard to build a reputation as a savvy businesswoman. Her ventures weren't just about profit. They were about shaping industries and creating opportunities, much like she did in her playing career. Though she has stepped away from competitive golf, Michelle's influence on the sport remains undeniable. Whether it's mentoring young players, contributing to innovative projects, or pushing boundaries in business, she's crafted a legacy that extends far beyond the fairways. And as she continues to reinvent herself, one can't help but wonder, what groundbreaking move will she make next? Michelle Wie West's journey from golf prodigy to business mogul is a story of resilience, reinvention, and undeniable talent. Her legacy in the sport may have evolved, but her influence remains as powerful as ever. If you're inspired by Michelle's incredible journey and want to see more stories of athletes who defy the odds, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and leave a like. The next chapter in sports history is just a click away.